Milwaukee. I want to share a couple of updates from city government with you. First and foremost, I want to make sure that everybody still is cautious. Remain cautious and be careful. Be careful when you're cleaning up. Be careful when you're around open water. Be careful when you're around down electrical lines as well. We want to make sure that everybody in this community is safe as we continue the recovery efforts and cleanup here in Milwaukee after the floods. Now, if you need a special pickup, particularly for those large, bulky items that you may be discarding in our neighborhoods, please use our Click for Action connection on the city's webpage. Again, Click for Action is right there on the city's webpage. Please use that. There is another option for folks to be able to call that in as well. That's to 414-286-CITY. That's 414-286-2489. But do be cautious, though, that because of the extreme call volumes that we're receiving, you might have to wait a little bit when you're using the telephone option. So, again, two options. You can call, but you can also just get the information in by going on the city's website and using our Click for Action option. I can also tell you that we're collecting data in support of a federal disaster declaration. So if members of the public share information about damage to their property, that can help out actually in our application. So if you have damage to your property, please make sure you report that. Please make sure you share that. It'll be useful in our application for our federal disaster declaration. And you can do that simply by calling 211. Now I'm joined as well by the Commissioner of Public Works, Gerald Kruschke, as well as the City Librarian, Joan Johnson, and they'll share some updates from their respective departments as well. So first I'll have my Commissioner of Public Works, Gerald Kruschke, come up.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Gerald Kruschke, Commissioner of Public Works. Thank you for being here today as we continue to update the community on our response after this weekend's historic flooding. First, I want to announce that we've had a great increase in the number of folks that went to our drop-off centers yesterday on Monday. Because we've seen that the public is really interested, we're deciding to extend our drop-off center hours until 6 p.m. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We generally close at 3, but we're trying to give those folks who work first shift an opportunity to access our drop-off centers, to give them a little more flexibility, so it's an extra 3 hours every day. We do want to remind folks when they're using our self-help centers that our DPW staff is on hand, but it's to help direct traffic and get you to the right bins. It is up to the actual resident themselves to load into these dumpsters, but we want to make sure people are cautious. There's wet, heavy items, which they probably take out of their basements, to put in there. Just use caution when you're doing that. There's a lot of folks that are accessing the drop-off centers, so it is quite busy. We've seen extended lines for a couple hours, and we understand that. We're trying to move people through as fast as possible. Again, we just want to make sure that the public knows that this is a free service. We are not charging, and we will at least be doing this through Sunday. We do want to let people know that if you do have electronics, we do not accept those at the curbside, but we will accept those at the drop-off centers. To make it easier on yourselves, if you can separate those electronic items when you come into the drop-off center to speed up the process, it would be much appreciated. In addition to the drop-off centers, the special curbside bulk pickup is ongoing throughout the city. If you place bulk items at your regular garbage collection point, and you call in, we will be able to pick those up. We understand there are some stuff that has been out there for 2 days already. We are trying to prioritize the city in the hardest hit areas. I've had many conversations with our elected officials on folks that are adjacent to waterways that have extreme damage. We're talking about hundreds of homes and stretches. We're trying to focus on those areas first. So if you're walking around your community, you see about 30 or 40 folks in your area, we will get to you. We're just trying to prioritize those were hit first. Just like the mayor said, we're trying to prioritize people using the online click for action opportunities because the call lines are a little backed up right now. We've had over 1,000 calls for service. As of today, we have multiple crews, at least 12 skid crews going through blocks. We will be updating our social media pages. You can see before and after pictures of our folks actively working. But we just want folks to be patient because the city, across the city as a whole, was hit pretty hard. I do want to note that last night we did have another another inch of rain that hit the city. It did affect our forestry crews. We did have about 100 service calls as of this morning for trees downed in the right-of-way. So not only do we have our sanitation crews that are taxed, we do have our forestry crews that were impacted last night. If you do see a tree down as of today, please use the call center Click for Action app and let us know that we're there. We're also dealing with a large number of street lighting outages. We talk about this on a yearly spring basis, but right now the ground is saturated to a level where it's impacting. We have over 60 street lighting outages, and we're working around the clock to try to get those up and running. As the ground thaws out, or I shouldn't say thaws out, as it dries out, you'll start to see lights come on, but our electrician crews have been pulled all over to actually get street lights on as quick as possible. So we apologize for the delay in some of those services. Finally, I want to once again urge residents to keep reporting storm-related events. I know sometimes the call waits could be 30 minutes, but those type of calls are helping us navigate where we can put our folks in the field. Please use 286 City, please use Click for Action as a portal, and then use the MKE mobile app. We want to remind everyone, with the unprecedented rain and flooding, that the event has caused significant damage across the city. I know when you look outside your windows, you may see a lot, you may see a little, but across the city there's 96.2 square miles that we have to deal with, and it has affected nearly everyone. Our teams are prioritizing the hardest hit areas, as I mentioned, but just be patient. Help out your neighbors and let us know. We want to thank you for your patience and your continued support. I'm going to now hand it over to Joan Johnson to give some updates on the library.
Thank you, Gerald. Good afternoon. I wanted to share with you that 6 of our library locations were affected by the weekend storms, and 3 are still closed to the public, and that includes the Villard Square branch on the north side, the Bayview branch on the south side, and from this morning storm, the east branch now on the east side, near east side. 3 suffered water-related damage to our building systems. Our infrastructure, such as HVAC and fire safety systems, were taken out by the Sunday storm, and then others were suffering from power outages and network outages. 2 of these locations require long-term system replacements. That would be Villard and Bayview. So those 2 locations are closed now until further notice. We are working really closely with the city police and fire departments to make sure that the buildings are safe in the meantime. There were also 3 impacted areas at the Central Library. 2 areas saw water leaking into the first and second floor public areas. But I'm very happy to share that although we had Capitol Branch closed yesterday due to flooding, we were able to reopen the Capitol Branch this afternoon. It's open its normal hours from 12 until 8 today. And the good news is that we do have 10 other branches that people can use. So every branch has a nearby branch that patrons can go to. And please, if you have materials that you were hoping to pick up from a location that's closed, please work with our staff to try to find another source in the system for something that you were hoping to pick up that you might have had on hold at one of the closed branches. And please keep checking our website for further updates. We will continue to keep people informed as this situation continues to unfold. Our website is www.mpl.org. Thank you so much.
Right, thank you, Joan. Thank you, Gerald. As was mentioned, this widespread damage that's happened throughout the city, affecting citizens certainly, but also affecting city government functions as well. So we'll continue to work around the clock as our city agencies have been in order to address the issue and get services running back online for folks in Milwaukee. With that, we'll take a couple questions.
I wonder, you said that the city is collecting that data to support a federal disaster declaration. How close is the city to actually being able to meet those benchmarks for that declaration?
We're working on that. As a matter of fact, I was joined yesterday by Governor Evers, who was assessing some of the damage here in Milwaukee. They're collecting that information, and my hope is that very soon they'll be able to get that over to the appropriate federal agencies in order to start providing some relief to citizens in Milwaukee.
Here you talked about the importance of people reporting. Does that disaster mean depend on people reporting? People don't call it in, we don't get it. You have to quantify everything. Explain to us the balance.
I don't think it's everything. I think it's a certain dollar amount that you're aiming for. So you'll see people out that are in particular neighborhoods across Milwaukee, trying to ascertain the level of damage. Then when you meet a certain threshold, then I think you're able to unlock those dollars. As far as I understand, this is all new to us. This is, as I mentioned the other day, the first time this has happened in Milwaukee in quite some time.
Can you walk through for residents how to report? They call 211. Do they then talk to an operator? Do they have to submit anything about their homes, or just to show how easy of a process it is?
Yeah, you certainly call 211. I think they'll help you to walk through what it is that you need to do, talk about the damage that has happened to your property. I think at some point you probably have to make sure that there's pictures or some other form that's filled out, but certainly calling 211 is the first course of action. So that's what I would lead people to, and they can help you to figure out the rest, but certainly call 211 to make sure you report that. We can document it, and it helps, again, our application for disaster declaration.
Mayor, what about immediate needs? We've seen a lot of homes that have foundations washed away. Talk about money that may help down the line, reimburse people, but what about maybe housing needs for the immediate couple of weeks?
Yeah, look, this is where I'm very happy about our partnerships. I talk about partnerships all the time, and I was contacted just recently by Visit Milwaukee that's working with some of their partners in order to make sure that people are able to access hotel rooms if they need that immediately. Certainly there are other resources that are out there. 211 may be another avenue in which people will be able to get those sort of resources as well.
All right, thank you.
I guess I wondered, you said there were 6 libraries total that were affected. Are you able to help us and provide any details of what happened at each of them?
Oh, sure, I'm happy to do that. So the Villard Square location suffered some pretty significant flooding, and that location, the HVAC system was wiped out, so there was no airflow. That system needs to be replaced entirely. At the Bayview location, that suffered water damage as well, and it took out the fire safety systems. So technically we cannot open to the public unless the fire safety system is 100% operable. But there is one way that we can maybe work around that, and once we know more about whether or not that will be a go, then we'll share more about that. The East Branch suffered network outages this morning from power outages, and we're hoping to be able to get that reopened before the end of the day, but we're still waiting to hear from We Energies on when power will be restored. The Tippecanoe location was suffering from power outages as well, but we were able to reopen. We were actually able to open late yesterday at Tippecanoe. The Capitol Branch, as I said earlier, flooding, and that just had to get dried out. So we spent all day yesterday drying the building out. We're able to reopen today. And Central, there were areas on the first and second floor that suffered water infiltration because of the green roof. Area was not able to sustain such a heavy downpour that was, and so certain areas had some damage to equipment, carpet, computer equipment, very minor impacts to actual materials in our collection, which is I'm happy to share. Not much damage to the materials at all in our collection.
Do you have an estimate for how much, monetarily?
As the mayor said, our teams are working on putting those estimates for the cost because we'll be submitting all that information as part of the city's submittal as well.